You know, this is just like the Thailand matchup, and Korea was down and out like they kind of are now. Thailand had 200 lives going into this final point, and Korea somehow won, and they did so with the triple tank setup. And I believe, do they have 3 tanks already? Yes, they do.
This is scary, man.
Yeah, so Sarah Jin, he needs to get set up on that hilltop like he did before. Remember, Ghosh? Because it's so hard to take him out. So he needs to get set up there. The other 2 then need to be to the backside of Windmill, and then you're going to have Korean members. So usually 2 or 3 is going to be at the top of Windmill. Let's listen in to their game plan.
왼쪽 없습니다. 오른쪽 가도 돼. 오른쪽 왼쪽 없습니다. 오른쪽 가도 돼. 오른쪽 그렇게 해서 잘 막았잖아. 괜찮아. 일단 최대한 살려봐. 터지면 큰일 나.
오른쪽 많대요. 오른쪽. 날탄 어딨지 상대?
오른쪽 찍었다.
저거 경탱인데?
I mean, I'm pretty quiet. Like, I don't have much else to say besides it, because it was just like, we need to get up this hill. We need to assess the situation. Whereas Korea was basically just holding on with their 3 tanks, saying, hey, we know exactly what to do. We've already done it. Now, again, this is an exact replica of history. What happens right when we get here? A guided missile, it's gotta be from China, looking to land on point, gets absolutely no value, because look at where Korea has gone. You see 5-6 people off the point on the right-hand side of your screen right now, gonna be running into this tank. JB Cat getting really aggressive, trying to take out one of these tanks. Unfortunately, it is a bad move, because we've got 2 tanks on the other side. I'm not kidding, this is almost identical to what just happened with Thailand. Aggressive tank push that gets punished, guided missile that gets no value, and there's still 3 tanks alive from Korea. If you all were watching literally an hour ago, you see this exact same scene, and it's the exact same scene where we're like, oh no, they've almost got part of E. There's 3 tanks. Korea's in a great spot. They're in the best spot by far.
And the respawn beacon has been destroyed, so that's no longer going to be there. Again, identical to what happened just earlier in Thailand versus Korea. This time around, though, it looks like China might want to swing wide to the left of the building, but he'll actually backtrack. Let's listen into China. You know their comms are great. Let's hear it.
我们要重新组织一波，兄弟们。
对，重新组织一波，小仓库往前压了，不要再往前压了。
老可以换个威龙，换个威龙。
改一下兵种，改一下兵种。
需要威龙，现在尝一下威龙、麦小文，非常需要这2个，非常需要。战比较上火，我需要你们车。
上车就行。
让我回下子弹。
对，我需要新。
车可以往仓库开，我跟你说，仓库现在没人的，他们主防方向是右手。
下一放。
收到。
Well, calm sound just as you would expect. Cool, calm, and collected, but also energetic. A great secondary push from China. The triple tank strat still in effect. Hot JB Cat, though, is going to be on the left-hand side, looking to challenge the left-hand take or right-hand take, depending on your perspective, from the Korean side. JB Cat got very aggressive earlier. I don't know if he's going to be aggressive this time around. Well, no, he's going for it. Actually, Korea's going to be the aggressor this time. They push in. We've got ahead, but as you typically see in these tank battles, JB Cat's going to lose again, and Korea will keep all 3 tanks.
No way. I mean, that thing's got to have 1 HP, and finally,
there it goes.
Thank goodness somebody's able to answer back. That's Asmodeus coming in and reaping one of the tanks out. That's absolutely massive for this team. Yes, we lose a tank in transition. Yes, China is down in vehicles, but 3 tanks is unbelievably impressive. And if history repeats itself, would lose you the game. 2, still really bad, but a little bit more manageable. We've got to get on the move, though, to continue to take out these tanks. It is the win condition. Nothing else is the win condition right now. We just saw this battle happen, but China is doing already better than Thailand was in the past, because Thailand wasn't able to take out a single tank, and at least China has 1 down thus far.
Well, the good news is, even though a tank is gone, Korea on that windmill still pretty powerful, especially if Hot JB Cat or whoever decides to get aggressive, because you know there's going to be some Saniva sitting up top. They've got the Razor Trap set up, so the zip isn't going to be usable, or at least it's going to be less usable from this side of China if they do decide to challenge up there. But more importantly, those players on top for Korea are going to be able to rain down AT4 shots to assist and take down tanks when they do decide to get scrappy. E fully captured once again by the side of Korea, down to 138 lives, and they are once again going for another push. This time, Korea is going to send a tank to the front lines. There's really no risk at this point. He's just going to go in for it. Why not? I mean, at the end of the day, the other tank has been destroyed, so they're good. Now, we do have another respawn beacon that has been placed down. I'm trying to pinpoint where it is. I don't see it, but Hot JB Cat about to go ahead and get himself into a tank destroyer, I believe, right?
It looks like a Lov, actually, which
Or a
isn't,
Lov, yeah.
it's not a bad play. Lovs are a bit cheaper than obviously tanks, so he's able to call that in. You got to remember, too, on all of these call-ins based on your score, anytime you call something in, if you call it in for a second time, that score is doubled. So these things are getting real expensive for Hot JB Cat, who is spending all of his score to get into these vehicles consistently. This is the exact same win condition we gave the charge, if you will, to Thailand, was get inside that building and make a play. The problem with this win condition is it only actually matters if you get these tanks down, and now they've got 3 back on the board. It looks like a light tank with 2 M1s. This is a pretty important moment that we've got to figure out as China how to take out this team. Let's listen in.
OK 吗？
上车走，我们打
他只要
左边好。
敢露出来，你就抽他。
我们有120平米，没事，我们有
这局清不
120平
了
米。，
这局清不了，乔，给个火，
敌
给个火。
方逮去沉默，敌方逮去沉默。
我们现在有制导，我们现在有制导，
我
七王毛。
知道。
先车冲我，上车走，上车走，
救一下，
不用走，不用走，不用走，白梯子装炮弹，装炮弹。
不用，来右边熄火。
我们要集结一波，点点。
有学飞吗？差一发，主战。
难。
没事，给我修，没事，他扎不掉我。敌方风车弹了，上车。
Yet again, Korea's tanks stand tall, and a guided missile, will it make a difference, or will it just clear the point? For a moment, wait a minute! Finally, somebody's done it. A perfect read. Diane takes out a tank with a guided missile. This is what I was talking about. A prediction moment. Not on the point. Back in the corner where the tank thinks they're safe. 1 down, 2 to go. 2 tanks on the board. And the point E contested with another tank battle on this far side.
Oh, wow.
Hot JB Cat is going to get taken down here shortly as another guided missile comes in from China that only cleans up 1. JB Cat out of another vehicle yet again. And yes, this point is under contest, but there are still 2 Korea tanks on the board. They should swing back in and clean up these attackers, no problem.
Well, they should, but there still is a lot of China members on the E point. But like you said, the tanks are moving in, but they've got to get there pretty quickly. And it looks like the numbers are finally through, and China's numbers are dwindling down. And for the first time in this game, China will drop below 100 lives. This is literally the first time. And like you said, just really a mirror finish between Korea and Thailand. We're now seeing it represented here between Korea and China. They backed away with the 2 tanks. China's starting to progress up. They have taken an advanced position on that building, and they'll still have some real estate in there. Maybe they can set up a respawn beacon and then try and go for a different angle of attack. Another guided missile is going to be coming in. Curious who's calling this one. Normally be Hot JB Cat, but I mean, you got to think Korea's got a lot of money too.
Yeah, they do. They've been spinning them on tanks, though. Let's see where it lands. One on the backside doesn't get anybody. That looks like a China missile looking for a tank. This time, the tanks scatter. I think it's worth noting, we haven't seen a guided missile from Korea because they've been stockpiling points for these tanks. Anytime one's taken out, they're able to buy another one. This is a genius defensive strategy to keep 3 tanks on the board in constant pressure. Another guided missile, where does it land? Does it land on a tank? Is it from China? It is from China, and it's sent with love, but Dead Dog goes down along with KST. So 2 fall. The problem is 3 tanks still on the board. Plenty of defenders. This one is still not that close. 1 tank goes down. All right, a moment of opportunity. The window's not open, but the chimney sure is. Somebody crawl down like Santa Claus and open up this point. It's time to get a win here for China. China can win it all, but they've got to get another tank off the board and then make another big push. They've got 70 lives remaining here, Taylor.
But they don't have a respawn beacon anymore on that advanced position. It was blown up. And with 1 tank, that can still be quite devastating. The answer, or the question I have, is will China commit a bit more money to get themselves a tank now that it's a 1v1? And Hot JB Cat might be buying one potentially, or do they want to commit for another guided missile? It's some questions that only they could answer. For Korea's sake, they've managed to recapture E fully with only 60 lives remaining. Hey, China needs to get to work, but let's listen in with Korea.
나이킹.
살짝 빠지셔도 돼요. 물러봐. 오른쪽 상대 나무 오른쪽. 집중해. 나소리. 오른쪽으로 따개비 맞아. 오른쪽에 많아. 건물에 들어오는 것만. 나 죽어. 오른쪽 돌차. 오른쪽 돌차.
You can hear the energy in their voice. You can hear the excitement as they are on the precipice of victory. A chance to finally defeat China, take a map off of them, something no one has been able to do, and force an undeniably exciting game number 3. And not only that, during that listen-in, they get a tank for themselves, another one to replenish, and they also destroy the tank on the side of China. I think Korea's going to do it, Ghosh.
This is yet again another moment of brilliance from Dead Dog. It's so smart to say, hey team, we don't need these missiles. Trust me. They're good for a moment. They're like a flash of in a frying pan. Instead, we need to slow cook them, and slow cook them good. We got 3 tanks, and we will always have 3 tanks. Do not spend any score on anything besides tanks. That is how we win point E. We did it last time. Let's do it again, and it is working. Every time a tank falls, they bring another one back, and China knows it. They get extremely aggressive on this tank down below in the street who has to retreat. They still aren't able to get it back, and guess what? They can just trade out. I'm gonna body block for you, dog. I got you. No worries. Get healed back up, and then we'll go back in together. The buddy system works here. It works in elementary school. It works everywhere. Unbelievable. Another guided missile. This would have to be monumental to really make an impact. It does absolutely nothing. GG's. This is gonna be a Korea win. I can only imagine, unless something crazy happens.
Something crazy. I mean, it has to be just nuts for China to take this back over. We started with the narrative Korea was getting fried. They were done. But then we also changed the narrative to what comes down to the E sites where they defended against Thailand. And we get to a near identical setup, and Korea once again holds on. Clearly, they've done their homework, and it's paying off. Again, I can't stress it enough. They are right. They are knocking on the door of giving China their first ever loss, especially in this tournament. That is critical. That is massive. Guided missile is going to be coming in. Let's see if it connects onto anyone. It does not, but that's okay. At least push China back. This is the last hurrah. China's going for it. They're committing, and honestly, it's looking okay. But Ghosh, the tanks roll straight in.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's a really smart play. You guided missile is so good for zoning. It's all fantastic. It's working well for you. You're just getting bodies off the point. If there were less tanks, you'd win. But you got to hit something crazy here, and it does look like a triple coming in from Mo on China. I mean, they've called in, what, 7 guided missiles at this point, and they've got decent value out of them. It doesn't matter, because with a defense like this, with 3 tanks, they haven't spent on anything besides tanks. They've had 6 tanks, I think, if I'm counting correctly. Korea's had 6 tanks in total, full tanks. Not any LOVs, not even tank destroyers. 3 full M1 tanks out on this point at all times. 6 in total through 200 lives. It's hard to beat. I'm going to be honest. It's a great strategy.
All right, smokes are out. 17 lives, make that 16. It's the beginning of the end. Game 3 should be underway relatively soon. I say that, but we have seen China pull off a miracle play, get the win with only 8 lives remaining. The question is, can they do it with 12 and 3 tanks breathing down their neck? Well, they have no choice but to try. And try they will. There's the magic number of 8. Some shots onto the tanks. Simply not enough. Now 7 lives. E almost decapped, but still so far away. China making a great effort. Korea's moving in. The guided missile has been launched, most likely from Korea's perspective. We'll find out very shortly, because China, they can't evacuate the E site. So this is probably going to pick up at least a couple, you would have to think. And it's actually from China onto Korea. Spaces them out. No way. E is starting to be captured. 2 lives remaining. Korea moving in to push them back. Halfway captured is E, but Korea holds it down with the tanks. Despite them being close, they might as well be infinitely far away from a victory. China has fallen. Korea is victorious, and we are going to a Game 3 in Grand Finals.
I'm telling you, a genius strategy. Every time we thought maybe Korea is going to drop a guided missile, nope. They only cared about buying tanks. It was strategy. It was genius. They got walked all over on every other point. They gave up DNC because they wanted to make sure that they had all of their tanks. It was the perfect strategy. I've got to tip my hat. Obviously, the Dead Dog as the commander to make the play, to make the call. This is our strategy. Trust. We let them roll over C. We let them roll over D. We hold at E just like we did an hour ago. Unbelievable. I can't believe it worked. And of course it does. It's Korea, and they've